I never thought I'd see the day where Belle would end up getting the Rick treatment from the Osanubi adventure. It doesn't matter if you die, we'll just bring you right back. What in the hell is wrong with Freya's training? The thing too, is I don't think it's even as good as Rick's training from Osanubi. At least if he actually did die, got brought back. The way they were talking, it's like, oh no, it's a good thing we did this in time. Because there ain't no bringing back. Their training is wild. It's actually fighting to the death, which is insane. But what is this arc? This is the gaslighting and death arc. I'll give Freya this. She's damn good at what she does. I mean, at first, it's kind of like, well, I mean, she did manipulate the whole masses, so, I mean, how good, or how much compliment should we give someone like that? But when she gets that book of notes, of all real memories, stuff that only Belle and those involved should know, and she starts using those memories to, get him even more convinced this is real, that was ice cold. At this point, Belle has a couple of options. He believes in the BS and just lives his life convinced. He questions existence and goes along on the wild Freya fun time ride, which she definitely would give him. Or he hops on board on a wild ride and then stabs his bitch in the throat. I personally go with option 3. I have full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my mind break in real time to this DanMachi brutality. It's over there exclusively. So, this is interesting. There are some interesting questions raised in my comments last week, and I'm sure across the internet in general. Like, what about the intelligent monsters? What about stuff in the dungeon? Well, they answer that. Yeah, she's absolutely Looney Tunes level crazy. She literally goes down to Buddy, who we see once a season maybe, says like 5 words a season, and she's pretty much, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing, and he's pretty much like, yeah, I can't do shit anyway. And I'm like, thanks, Buddy, you're always there when we need you. So basically everything's screwed. She even says F them kids in this episode. She says, hey, children from outside, get them too, we're gonna brainwash everyone. Now, it's not completely hopeless in the way that people, if there's enough clues or triggers, they can break the brainwashing. We actually saw someone do so in this episode when she discovered her book. Unfortunately, as soon as that happened, like, I know there was someone who was looking at her when she first picked up the book, but it's the fact that, like, there was no signs to me that she was like, oh my god, like, as far as we know, if you snap the brainwashing, she might just immediately trigger to that. It's hard to say. Or she just has so many spies everywhere that it's impossible. So that's a really unfortunate thing about this, because you look at Eyes, right? She's on where Belle and her would train. She doesn't know why she's there, but she's there. So there's a lot of ways to trigger memories and get people to remember Belle and remember the original reality. But between the number of people watching or, you know, her knowing that you broke the spell, what can you really do against that? The only person who truly has, well, I guess there's 2. There's Belle, if he truly believes and gets rid of the gaslighting allegations, and then there's Hestia. Hermes, I think, is probably also another one that, even though I feel like it may not work out, that note's gonna come in clutch. It's gonna be information only he knows, so therefore Hestia must be telling the truth that he gave that to her, knowing something was gonna happen. But either way, it's wild. The thing about the gaslighting is I was a little worried at first because initially Belle just kind of went along with it at the beginning of the episode, and that was kind of frustrating because I'm thinking to myself, listen, there's no reason for Belle not to doubt things, especially if the whole world around him is acting like he's crazy or it's always been like this. But initially he was just kind of going along with it. Thankfully that was a misdirect, and most of the episode functioned exactly as I think it should, which is, and like I mentioned last week, it's almost impossible to know how you would react put in Belle's shoes, because if you randomly woke up tomorrow morning and your past however many years you've been alive was a dream and everyone just was completely different or acted like you were crazy, you're gonna doubt yourself. There's no rational person who, after a day or two, maybe a couple weeks if they're really pushing back, because depending on how, because I've had dreams where it did feel like months of life. And it does mess with you when you come to, but that's like a 5, maybe half hour maximum. I'm like, okay, that was a damn vivid dream. Belle has like 6 months of memories on top of everything before he traveled in. And everything he's being told about when he got there is a lie now. And the fact that you have at face value a very supportive goddess. Now, the clan be messed up. they train to the death, and at the end of the day, Belle is the favorite, which is no exaggeration. One thing I can genuinely say about Freya, I actually think she loves Belle. Like 100% I believe that. Like, she's madly in love with this kid. You can very much tell by the end. And I think the idea that Belle's the only person who can actually resist her is a big reason for that. It does raise the question, if Belle actually gave in to lust towards her, would that still make her love him, or would that be something that no longer makes Belle interesting to her? That's something you can't really say for sure. I'm willing to believe she probably still, like, if Belle committed being like, I want to bang you, I want to date you, I want to be your number one, she probably would go along with it. But there is that possibility of, what if Belle's no longer that pure, kind-hearted soul that she fell in love with? The thing is that for Belle, he's in a situation where every night he goes over, tells her the stories, she then reinforces or misdirects him, and it's corrupting his mind to the point of really making him doubt reality. And the fact that she's now reinforcing real memories just with her own twist to it, it makes it feel like, okay, well, maybe it really was a dream and I just misremembered things in my... Like, it's a very bad situation to be in, and honestly, you end up in a couple of situations. You end up with a very angry protagonist who hates everyone and just gets rid of everyone, which is not going to happen, just given it's a story, but realistically, you could end up in that situation. You end up in a padded room because you're so mentally crazy, or you eventually forget about what came before because it was all a dream. Very hard to say where Belle's going to go. It's all going to link up with Hermes, Hestia, of course. But now seeing that everyone potentially, like, we might be able to make a little shadow group in the background, but if she does get any sort of signal that someone broke her brainwashing, that pretty much removes that element of allieness. So, I don't know. We saw Belle nearly die. We saw dozens of soldiers getting cut down because it's just training. And at this point, you generally feel like Freya's in love with this kid, and that's the crazy thing, like, you can't even deny that she's in love with Belle. Like, the fact that Belle can actually resist her, but then has, like, that innocent side. It's like, it's pretty much why Hestia likes him. And she generally feels like a nice, kind-hearted soul in that final moment. But then you remember the evil bitch smirk she had at the midway point, where she's like, yes, I broke him. And I'm like, girl, you even misled him with the tattoo on his back because of that damn item. You are a psycho bitch. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on the Gaslighting Murderous arc, known as DanMachi Season 5, down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Sean Adrian Dino, Tyreek Johnson, Jenny Stiegel, Clubs, John Kelly, Christian D. Ruffy, and we also have Charlotte, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.